Hello everybody, welcome to the weekly collective reading. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. Apollo is just off camera there. I'll pull him up a little bit later, but it is great to see you. If you're new here, this is a great chance to basically take a look at all of the energy for the week ahead. Since Valentine's Day is coming through this week, I thought it would be appropriate to explore themes of love and healing, relationship building, passion. And so it didn't surprise me when you guys were like, can I please have all of them? So we're going to do our best today to try to break it into three parts. Self-acceptance, which I think is the foundation of everything, self-love and healing. Then we'll move on to any sort of wounds in the heart or emotional wounds that need to be healed, followed by creating some passion in your life. Okay? So, without any further delay, again, welcome everyone. We're going to get into channel messages first and foremost. Not surprisingly, as I was meditating today, there was an energy of healing that came through, and I kept seeing that beautiful flowering bleeding heart plant, which I think is connected. It would be connected to the death card in tarot, which was today's daily pull. I think it's a funeral sort of card, or rather plant. So what I see with this is kind of like moving from Three of Swords to Four of Swords, moving from a place where maybe there's something that needs to be released to looking on the other side. And definitely check out the daily card pull for today, because there's a beautiful version of the death card in that, where it's really a portal. I think the hardest thing sometimes is just realizing that something that exits, whether it's person, place, thing, opportunity, it doesn't represent a constant state. Oftentimes it is a catalytic sort of event that helps open you up to new possibilities in your life. And hopefully today I can kind of help you open up to those possibilities as well, and basically see all that the universe has to offer. Okay? The other thing that I saw was just this field of grass blowing in the wind, growing, and like it was kind of like abundance as far as the eye could see. And kind of looks like the Great Plains or something in the United States, or maybe the fields of Ireland or something, untouched. And so it feels like once you get through the challenging energy, there is this new sort of area that has yet to be discovered. And if you can look at things kind of as an adventure or a discovery, the unknown, it becomes a lot more manageable, a little bit more exciting. And that's what I'm trying to do over the course of the next couple weeks. You'll see me at one more remote location, and then I'll be returning to Los Angeles. I'm on the East Coast now, in the Mid-Atlantic region. So I've just tried to enjoy this, connecting with friends and family and cousins. And so life can be an adventure. You can either let the uncertainty get to you or just kind of ride the wave. So we're riding the wave right now. Let's get into a 7-day forecast and see what is coming through in this next week ahead. All right, so hopefully everything works today. One thing that is always kind of crazy about traveling is you have to keep setting things up. So anyway, let's begin. I'm going to shuffle first here, but let's close our eyes as well, set the intention for the following. Imagine, if you can, that you're maybe outside in a field of snow, because I am on the East Coast and it's sleeting and raining and snowing. But imagine it's a beautiful snowy field and you create a circle around your body, creating a boundary, creating a separation from you and all the noise around you. Imagine the sun is shining directly overhead, warming up your body, connecting you to source. Let's bring in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters and see what's coming through. All right. We're going to begin first and foremost with the energy of today. So for this Sunday, you have the Star card that came through, and the Star card is in the reverse state. Whenever this happens, it's basically a reminder that you shouldn't have to change yourself for the love or the acceptance of others. And I know it's easier said than done, especially when it's a parent or a friend, and you're just like, I want to be loved, I want to be accepted. So what we were doing in the meditation, she's doing in this illustration. She's connecting to source, figuring out where she stands, who she is, what she stands for. And so I think it's really important in this moment. And again, I know it's hard for some of you, but it's important to prioritize self, because one of the tenets of today's reading is self-acceptance. And this one is basically saying, I am enough. I am more than enough, right? And this helps you with the self-worth. So self-acceptance first. I love and accept myself. I am more than enough to receive love and opportunity in the highest forms, and I am willing to prioritize myself, confidence, self-worth, and self-respect over the need to change or the need to compromise in order to get somebody else's approval. So we want you to feel that sense of worth here. And today could just be a day where you're kind of meditating on that. The star card is also about realignment. We did that a couple weeks ago or last week, realigning to your purpose. And, you know, when I first graduated from my advanced degree in grad school, I remember talking about things that I wanted to do and then things that I was actually doing. And there are a couple of people that I was friends with when I used to live in the Northeast. And they just said, you know what? Don't wait too long. Life has a way of kind of like, sort of like fast forwarding. And before you know it, you wish you were doing that. So I didn't understand it fully then, I do now. And that's why I don't waste time when an opportunity comes to seize it, even if it seems a little bit outlandish. I'm like, this is where I should be. So don't wait too long. That's what the star is reminding you, to be who you are and to connect to what's important. It's never too late. It's never too soon. It's not a fear-based message. It's more of a nudge. We came here for certain reasons, each of us. Some of us are here to teach. Some of us are here to entertain, to heal, to explore, to change. Whatever your sort of overarching soul purpose is, close your eyes, tune in, and think, what is it that I get the most joy out of? Realign to that and allow that to be your compass to move forward. Let's take a look at Monday. That was a deep Sunday card. All right, so for Monday, we have Ace of Swords. Very productive day. This is a good day. By the way, I mean, even today, if you had to have a date, a meeting, or an important conversation, the energy of Sunday is very helpful with that. But on Monday, you can actually get a signature on the dotted line. So people may be looking to you for a decision. People may be looking to you for clarity, for ideas, for insights. And we can see just how deep that insight can go here in this particular illustration. So definitely allow yourself to, whatever's coming through, like from a brainstorming perspective, just get it onto paper. As a fellow creative, as someone who writes, also someone who produces, like the daily cards are very good for me because I try not to, I just kind of like get it out and then I edit it down so it's short enough, but there's not a lot, you don't have to do a lot sometimes to get the message through. So approach it like that, just write it down. There'll be time later to perfect or to expand upon it, or sketch it down or talk it out. But if we keep it bottled in, it's not going to have the ability to expand. So that's all you need to do is let it out. And that's the main message on Monday. But great day for communication, getting contracts signed, getting people to agree with things, sparking a conversation if you need it as well. Good start to the week. All right, let's take a look and see what's coming through for Tuesday. On Tuesday here, we have possibly, this is when you can do the hammering out and the revisions or revising. So Page of Swords in reverse is taking a step back and saying, all right, well, we said this. How about maybe we combine things? This is where actually some of the creativity can start to come in, including some of the compromises. But let Monday be the easy day. Tuesday, you can do some heavier lifting. The other thing with the page in reverse, they need to both listen very well and make sure that they understood things. So you can, when you're talking to someone, say, this is what you said. I'm interpreting it this way. Is that what you wanted? Is that right? You can just say, is that right? Did I miss anything? So you can just double check. And the other thing is ask someone else, do you have any questions? Was that clear? Give them room. Now they may just say, then say, okay, well, if you have questions, here's how you can contact me. Make sure the lines of communication are open and that people aren't afraid to ask those important questions. This page is also balancing a lot. Look at her tiptoeing across the sword with, birds flying around her, the book and all these things. So less is more. And slow down. And whenever a page is reversed, it's slowing down in communication. Knights, it's slowing down in movement. So slow down the communication, reread, rethink, revise. Revisionary day on Tuesday. But a lot can get done. Just make sure that the communication is as clear as possible. Now let's look at the midweek, starting to get exciting, perfectly aligned with energy coming through a little bit early here because, let me look at the date. I think is that the 12th? Yeah, so we're like 2 days away from Valentine's Day. But anyway, the Lovers in reverse, it's still a very persuasive card. It's just a question of, are you ready? Are you ready to receive? Because the universe is ready to start to deliver certain things. But a reversed Lovers can be, am I worthy? Am I ready? Can I do this? Also, I had advice from a friend once in school, which is if someone loves you or appreciates you or offers you something and you feel like, they're out of your league or it's too much, just don't get in your headspace. Let that be your little secret and enjoy it and think, oh my gosh, look at what I'm getting. But the truth is, like attracts like. So you are ready. You are worthy. I think the self-confidence piece is really the biggest. That's why it was the first of the 3 things that I wanted to focus on. So when we get into the special topic, we'll really focus on self-confidence, see where the wounds might be, see how you might be able to overcome it, and then move forward from there, okay? You can be discerning. If there's someone that comes into your life and you're not feeling it mutually, just say it. If someone in your life is discerning and isn't feeling the connection, also observe that. Don't force anything. It should be as sort of gentle, easy, and obvious as what we see in this beautiful illustration here. So open yourself up to receive, basically, is what I'm getting with that, okay? This would be a great day, by the way, Wednesday, for any sort of negotiation, conversation, of course, a date. Maybe someone in your life misses you and wants to spend a little bit more time with you, and that's a call to action there as well. All right, let's move on to Thursday. As we're looking at the energy of Thursday, we have again, another card of slowing down, particularly when it comes to communication. And in this one, it's about making sure that you're tailoring it to the audience. So in this illustration, you see a ton of different flying creatures. I have an owl right here. We have a bat, we have a dragonfly, some sort of falcon or eagle, and I'm sure there's a butterfly or something else in here. But basically, all these different flying animals, insects, etc., are reminders of all the different channels and all the different audiences. One size doesn't fit all when it comes to an important conversation. So if you're in a business, for instance, you want to make sure that what you would send to a stakeholder or shareholder is different from like a customer, is different from the press. You're going to tailor all of that. So just make sure you are checking in on the audience and thinking, would this make sense to them? The other thing here is don't be overly critical. King of Swords, Queen of Swords in reverse can sometimes be very critical of themselves or others. Keep an open mind, be kind to yourself, and be forgiving of others when possible. If there is something that needs to be said or done, swift action. That's basically the King of Swords. This is a time to really kind of get in, get that done, and then move on to the next thing, okay? And again, there's multiple opportunities this week for signatures. I feel like Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday are all opening up with that kind of energy. A slightly more social Friday. And so on Friday here we have 3 of Cups energy coming through, and I'm just checking the date. That is Valentine's Day. So this is a perfect card for Valentine's Day. It's not always just about spending time with a lover or loved one. Sometimes it's friends and family. I'll pull Apollo up in a second, but it can be just spending time with someone that you love in your life, doing something fun. Getting a little bit out of the hermit mode, because 3 of Cups in reverse sometimes is, oops, I just hit the camera. 3 of Cups in reverse is sometimes that feeling of, I know I should get out there, I want to get out there, but it's so much more comfortable at home, right? And so I want you to feel free to kind of get out of your shell. You'll be happy that you did. It will be a good experience once you sort of get out and about. So give yourself a chance to spread your wings. What you want to avoid at the end of the week is gossip. Anything that you wouldn't want to hear yourself, or you've been told not to say, just be mindful of that, because I feel like gossip has a way of getting around. Be as inclusive as you can. It's always nice to be invited to a table or invited to someone else, to be with someone else. So, this is a time to connect and open your heart, open your mind, and be with those people. Okay, now let's take a look at the weekend and see what's coming forth. Next Saturday, we have the energy of the Hierophant. It's in the upright position. A great day to get organized, a great day to build and create new structures. This is also an energy of slight rebellion because this Hierophant is younger. There's no gatekeeper. And it's saying if there's something that you want to do, sometimes you have to be the one to do it. Entrepreneurial energy, in other words. So don't be afraid to explore a little bit. There's a place for organization and tradition. There's a time to follow the rules. There's a time to bend them a little bit. So you're going to be playing around with a little bit of both as we look at the energy of Saturday. This is also a spiritual card, much like this. So spirituality is a common theme this week, and it's kind of pulling you through the whole week. Let's look at next Sunday. So we have the Queen of Wands in reverse. She's bold. She's intuitive. She is also kind of very inventive, but she's a little stubborn. So the stubbornness may serve you in some areas because you may think to yourself, like, I have to do this. And that's what makes an athlete, achieve the gold medal. That's what makes an entrepreneur start their business and succeed. There does come a time and a place, though, where you want to open yourself up for something potentially to be a little bit easier. What I do love about this is she's starting to rediscover her magic. I mean, wands are magic after all, and they can kind of come through and create a breakthrough. And she's reminding you that that breakthrough is at hand. I love the little cat in the corner. Also showing you that you can land on your feet, that intuition is running strong, and that no matter how many times you've been pushed down, 9 of Wands honestly should have the cat because of 9 lives, but she's maybe on that 9th life, but she's here to stay. She isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So just keep an open mind, exercise this stubbornness when it makes sense, but try not to be too stubborn. Let me take a drink. We'll talk about highlights and lowlights, and then we'll move on to the elements. Okay, highlights this week. I mean, I feel like today's a highlight, and honestly, there's really no overly challenging cards, but connecting to spirit today is really important because it's going to set the tone for the week. Our 2 upright cards here, Ace of Swords and the Hierophant, are also showing you that Monday and Saturday can be really impactful. The rest of the week is opening up opportunities, but I'm seeing some resistance. So the important thing here is to open up. You have love and relationships coming through midweek and on Valentine's Day, and communication plays a really important role for the rest of the week. I mean, it looks like a good week overall, and I would say just remember to keep that open heart and that open mind. Let's move in to the next portion of today's reading, which is going to be the elements, where we look at fire, earth, air, and water. We'll change up the deck that I'm using for this, and let's give everything a shuffle. Okay. Fire, earth, air, and water. All right, so let's begin first with our fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We have 9 of Swords energy coming through, and what we're seeing in this week ahead for many of you is just this encouragement not to pay too much mind to what everyone else is saying and thinking. So in this illustration in particular, you can see the projection of fear, expectation, etc. That friends and family can sometimes put on us. This can also be all of the things that we say to ourselves, all of the many sort of criticisms. There's a song by Alanis Morissette that was, I think it was on one of her bonus albums, but or maybe it was like her 3rd or 4th, but it's called Tapes. And it's about all the things that play in our head. And she's like, I need to get these not so constructive voices out of my head. It's a beautiful song. So don't let those voices, the inner saboteur, get in the way of, who you are, kind of like the star power that we were talking about earlier. 9 of Swords is also about the quality and quantity of sleep. So if you have been working yourself to exhaustion, the next card you don't want to experience, 10 of Swords, it can be sickness. So rest adequately and find good ways to release stress in your life. Each one of us is going to need and want like a different outlet. Whatever that is for you, please find that so that you can thrive this week. So it's just a really big self-care card for all of the fire signs. The silver lining on the 9 of Swords is it is mostly a fear-based card, not reality. So when you alleviate or release or exorcise the fear, then you just see that green field that I saw, which is possibility and exploration. So ground yourself, release that, heal the heart, and then go explore that field in front of you, okay? All right. Let's move on from fire to earth. Looking at Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, we have Temperance. It's an angelic card. Typically, you'd see a temperance angel. It's coming through to slowly guide you into new beginnings. Temperance has 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land, testing things before it takes a leap. And then usually there is a sort of, what do you call it? Like a path behind temperance. So patience, focusing on the long game and the long-term goals, these things are tenets to success. In this particular card, we see doves, which represent making peace with things, aligning to that energy of death and rebirth that I pulled for Sunday. And then we also see a little parasol or an umbrella or protection. And it's also showing in this moment that you can weather any storm with patience, with this sense of measured, meticulous, like one step at a time sort of energy. You have to tune in to receive intuition. Slow down a little bit so you can receive the messages that Spirit wants to bring forth, okay? So overall, pretty good energy. No extremes. That's the main thing with temperance. Don't let things kind of take you out of your zen or your calm. And if you're not in a zen or calm state, again, doing some meditation today can help. All right, let's move on to the next element. So we just looked at fire and earth. Let's go into air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You may feel like you have to jump through hoops to make people listen to you or to be seen or heard. This is also a card of being able to accomplish the impossible and being able to meet some of these rigorous or even like unusual or unrealistic expectations, but to a point. You shouldn't have to jump through hoops every day, right? So in this card, we are going to pick and choose when we're going to go that extra mile, and then you're also going to hold back a little bit if you're constantly doing that. Knight of Wands is inventive, intuitive, can take an idea and express it or explain it very nicely to someone else. This is a great time to do all of the above. Good week for important leadership conversations. If you are having a hard time saying it, then show it. Prototyping, illustrating, demonstrating, body language. These are other components of communication that sometimes get lost. So even though your air, fire is coming through, so put the passion into it, put the demonstration forward and see if that can't bring people to the next level. If you're in a relationship, things are looking good. This is a very passionate card. Things could go to the next level, okay? All right, great week for air signs. Let's move on now to water, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. You are focusing on yourself. King of Pentacles in reverse is deciding to put a little bit of time and energy into personal development, to also maybe recalibrating, like if they're not getting enough support, enough time, enough energy, they're going to raise their hand and say, wait a second, in order to get this done, I need this. Can I count on you for that? Can we make this happen? You may also be moving around your schedule or your financial investments so that something that you want can be manifested. So this is a card of speaking up and advocating for yourself. In relationships, in job, in life in general, you're going to also focus on resources, time, energy, money, but also the investment of your heart into someone else too. Just making sure that it all is kind of like feeding in and like it's reciprocated. If it isn't, you have to recharge your battery, okay? And a little bit of decluttering at the home space too. King of Pentacles sometimes has a lot, and when I'm seeing this much, it can be a little bit heavy. So put some stuff into storage, give some stuff to people that might need it, recycle, reduce, revise, all of that. Overall, pretty good energy. I think it's basically the first grouping, what was it, fire, that just needs to focus on maintaining that sort of like cool, calm, collected energy. So meditation will help all of you this week, but particularly the fire signs. All right, let's get ready for the special topics, plural, because I'm going to break it down. I'm looking at the side monitor. Self-acceptance, healing, and rekindling passion. And it can be passion in all aspects of your life too. So relationships is just going to naturally kind of factor into that. I think it'll be more in that latter group. But we're going to focus on the most important relationship, the one with yourself. Apollo's sleeping, but I'm going to bring him up to say hello because I know some of you want to know
how he's doing.
I know, buddy. He gave me a little groan as I picked him up. All right, so our special topic today, like I said, is multifaceted. Thank you, everybody. Welcome. By the way, if you enjoy what you see here, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and I'm going to put them down so he can get his rest. All right, let's begin. I'm going to start off first, like I said, with self-acceptance, self-healing. We want to look at what's going on with you in this moment in time that could be contributing to some of the challenges that you're experiencing. Let's see, I have another deck over here, which we're going to need for this. All right. Okay. Let's break this down, and we're going to take a look at past, present, and future influences in your life that could be contributing to like pain or discomfort. How ironic that we have beautiful cards here. So one thing that the universe is already saying here is, I hope you're ready to receive. This is like the perfect, like you can't fake it when you're pulling cards with tarot sometimes. Four of Wands, Two of Cups, Lovers. Like literally, that's everything that I'd want to get. Ace of Cups would be nice, but otherwise I got every relationship card that I need. That's kind of spooky. All right, so let's take a look and see what's blocking you to receive. Because right now I see that we're okay. I'm going to have to ask more pointed questions. We're going to just do an overarching one for healing. Then I will specifically say wound from the past, etc. Because when I just did an overarching message, the universe says you're ready, you're worthy. Okay. So we'll start off with the deep past. So I'm just going to read this broadly as areas to be healed. For some of you, maybe when you grew up, maybe when you were raised in the family, there wasn't the stability that you wanted that is normally present in an upright Four of Wands. Four of Wands represents monogamy. It represents someone having your back. It is the kind of relationship that everybody is really looking for. Best friends, firm foundations, strong alliances, honesty and truth. When it's reversed, you don't always have the support that you need. You are still worthy of it, but the person that was there, like, and again, this could be a parent. We could go that far back, but it could also just be the first core relationship that you had, or friendship. There was something there where it wasn't as stable as you wanted. One thing that the universe is bringing forth as I'm thinking about this and looking at this is part of the reason was that you were stronger than you thought. That person needed a little support from you. You were teaching them a little bit. It was a comic. Maybe it wasn't comic, but it was a karmic sort of like opportunity. If you can look at it with a sense of humor, that would be helpful. A sense of empathy. I was talking to the friends that I'm staying with. Like, we are now the age that our parents were when they were raising us, like in high school. And there is this sense now of, yeah, you can laugh some of it off. You understand it. Because there is a sense of humor as you get older. You're just like, okay, I get it. You have to laugh sometimes or it just gets difficult. So yes, having a good laugh, having a good look, and realizing that it served a purpose. And it did make you stronger. And you can turn this around simply by not repeating the mistakes of the people that you loved in the past. The message with this one is grace, balance, and vibrancy. So the flamingo can stand on one foot, right? So you can stand on your own. It's nicer to have someone else there to help firm the foundation a little bit, but you don't need it. So it was basically to illustrate your strength. So what we can release now is pain as a teacher, rejection as a teacher, difficulty as a teacher. They all helped, but you don't need it anymore. So thank you, universe, for the challenges that we received. We are no longer seeking challenges in order to illustrate things. How about synchronicities and opportunities? I can stand on my own, but I'd like to stand with someone else. So you can just kind of manifest that this week. Create better balance in your life and find things that bring out that vibrancy or that passion in you. When you are vibrant, when you are laughing, when you are comfortable, when you're standing on your own 2 feet, then you naturally attract what you seek. Okay. And it's coming forth. But let's look at we'll talk about the Two of Cups. I want to look at the block first, and we can look at how to embrace what wants to come through. So if we looked at this in the upright position, aggression, waiting, and awareness. So in the reverse state, it's saying there may be, for many of you, just this call to be less, I'm trying to think of the best word, less forward. So my dog is super shy. I'm staying in a place where there are 3 cats. And the cats are constantly tiptoeing, and he'll just he doesn't make any noises, you know this, but he'll kind of growl and get nervous or shake. And I'm like, if they would just be calm, he would check them out. Or if they would just sit next to each other, it would be fine. So don't push. That's one thing with the aggression piece, because sometimes it puts people into a fight or flight mode. So when you're trying to, when you're trying to make sure that you're not kind of coming on too strong, that's what I'm getting with this. The crocodile mouth is also something that I'm looking at on this, and so it kind of reminds me of someone who just has a hard time not talking. So if there are any possibilities to be with someone, to talk to someone, listen more than you speak. And when you do speak, ask insightful questions that show that you remember things or that you listened. And then the awareness is just to be aware of, like, we're looking at healing here, but what came through was love. So I'll go with the energy of the cards. It feels like there's someone in your life that wants to help you right now. And if you're open to receive that help, it could be a beautiful experience. So open yourself up to receive. Receiving also means listening. It also means just saying thank you. So we're getting those sorts of energies that are coming forth. There's a chance for someone to come into your life right now that could heal some of the challenges you had in your past. If you're ready, if you're willing. This can be friendship. It can be community. It can be camaraderie. It does not have to be passion or romance. But it does feel like there's a helping hand that wants to come through, and there's a chance to firm up the foundations from the past. This person will be different than the one in the past. And then ultimately, it leads us to this, which is the Lovers. So we have the opportunity, by the way, there could be a Sagittarian coming forth, Sagittarius, that wants to come through and help you. But this is really about being targeted as well. Like, what is it that I'm looking for? What is it that I'm looking to bring into my life? This is a gentle card. So that's the other thing that we saw. We just got the energy of listening, but look at how gentle the embrace is here. There is no sense of pushiness. There's no sense of over talking or over stepping boundaries. So cool, calm, and collected, much like the Temperance Angel that came through, right? That is really kind of what's going to help you get to that energy of love and firmer foundations. We have a Cancer type card coming through here in the deep past, the Crab. It's saying growth, trust, and security. This is what I want to focus on next, because I feel like this is the potential block here because it was reversed. Trust yourself, come out of your shell, and know that that by opening yourself up to someone or something else, growth will come through. But I have to say, like, the main message, the first message so far is, this was just a blip on the radar. This was just one moment in time. What we really see is a deepening energy coming through that will give you what you sought before. All of this and then some, okay? Because we have a major here, a major arcana card. So the Lovers comprises both of these, okay? For the person asking no Celtic Cross, I am looking at 3 different things at once, and we're going to go in the flow. So sometimes I choose to do an intuitive reading. I feel like it's nice to do that. If I can get through all 3 of these, maybe I'll look at it, maybe I won't. That's what's fun with this. This is about opening up to change. We got the Death card today. So yeah, maybe no Celtic Cross, because I feel like it's good to change it up. Sometimes I don't do health, wealth, love, and destiny. Sometimes I do. This changes. It doesn't have to be the same thing. I've been doing it for 10 years. We can change it up every weekend if we want to. So yes, we're going to change it up. Because I want to look a little deeper at some of these things. And I can't always do it if I go through a rigid Celtic Cross, but I can ask questions and look at past, present, and future, okay? So if that works, if you guys are cool with it, if you want a Celtic Cross, just spam in the live chat, say I want a Celtic Cross, and I'll look at it. But because you chose 3 topics, I have to be flexible in that, okay? All right, but I do care about what you guys think, so just let me know. All right, so what I want to look at is specifically, because I called it out in the, I'm gonna open up the tab here on the community tab. I want to look at self-love, forgiveness, and acceptance. I want to see what could cause the problems. Like what is the particular block in self-acceptance for many of you? All right, so we have the Seven of Wands, which is a defensive card, and it's in reverse, and it's being pushed in directions that you don't want to be. All right, so show me what might cause the defensiveness or the self-protection, because that wall that is the Seven of Wands can hold people back. Okay, thank you. I'm seeing everyone with saying you're fine with this. So we're just having a conversation today, a spiritual conversation without so specifically going through the cross. When I saw 3 topics, I'm like, we can't do a cross. It's not going to cover all 3. Crosses are good at kind of like an overarching theme or specific question. So I can't look at 3 things at once. I mean, I can, but not as effectively. Okay, so interesting stuff. Now we're getting somewhere on this. So I asked, where is this coming from? It definitely has an energy of, this would be parent or teacher. The Queen of Pentacles is a formative energy in your life. So we're looking at, why do I sometimes feel like I have to push people back? Why am I defensive? The traditional stance of the Seven of Wands is like this. I'm pushing back. So what could happen sometimes for some of you is that in order to not be hurt, you're pushing back core relationships. And again, it comes from this sense of wanting to be completely self-sufficient, which the Queen of Pentacles is. But there could have been a figure in your life that was really keen on you meeting up to those expectations, because the Queen of Pentacles is an overachiever. It's not just about money, it's about accomplishments, it's about being like super self-sufficient. So if it was a strict upbringing, if it was a strict education, if it was a strict culture, or if you're just very hard on yourself, the first thing here is that we're already seeing you've done it. You've proven it. You don't need to prove it anymore. You don't have to prove it to me. You don't have to prove it to yourself. Specifically now, if I can keep this card from falling, as we look at present energy here, it is Five of Pentacles, which represents sometimes feeling like you're on the outside looking in. The traditional illustration shows 2 people out in the cold, winter weather. There's shelter behind them. They're not helping each other. They're not going into the shelter. There's a feeling also between the 2 of them like, I was counting on you. So there may have been someone that had conditions on their love. I will love you as long as you accomplish, as long as you perform, as long as you do everything that I expect you to do. Unconditional love doesn't work that way. Do the best that you can, be the best that you can be, and that's enough. That's enough. That's all you can ask. So as long as you're doing your best, you're more than enough, okay? And it is typically Five of Pentacles is from childhood. It can also be from a relationship that has repeated a sort of teaching from the past that's coming through. So a recent friendship or love interest that said something that brought you back to the past, and all of a sudden you're like 5, 6, 7 years old again. So it was very much in the past. The fact that you already presented as having done the work is the main takeaway here. You're more than enough, okay? What can you do? This is why we're looking at it. What can you do to heal it? We'll pull an oracle card on this one as well. Reading is a great thing, actually. Listening to a podcast, watching a TV show, sort of learning from somebody. How did they do it? Who else is out there? Because what you'll find invariably is that there are a lot of other people that have had a similar path as you. And if you can't find it, maybe you're the one that's going to write a story, direct a film, do something to help other people realize that they're not alone. Because it's a very big world, like billions of people on the planet. So this is it's not as isolated as you might think, except in sort of rare circumstances. Many people have gone through themes of rejection. Many people have gone through heartache, abuse, feeling like an outsider, bullying, whatever that Five of Pentacles was for you. As we saw in the preceding cards with the Four of Wands, the Two of Cups, and the Lovers, there's a lot of love and support waiting for you now. It doesn't erase or in any way make what you experienced less than in the past, but it shows you there's something better waiting. So you don't have to give up, or like, healing doesn't mean erasing, it means contextualizing. And it doesn't mean forgetting. And it doesn't mean completely, like I've learned that with grief. When you lose somebody, they're still in your lives. They're still part of your memory. They're still part of your heart. But you have to find ways to create new experiences. And there were two sort of analogies that ring true to me, having gone through grief. And that can be part of this too. One is that it's kind of like a hole. You don't necessarily always fill up the hole. You start to build things around it, and you can kind of make that part of the experience. It's also like a spiraling staircase. Sometimes you're going up, sometimes you're going down, but eventually you'll get to the top, but it's not a straight and narrow path. So healing is very much the same way. Apollo had an injury. He's fully healed. He looks amazing now. But if I run my fingers across his stomach, I can feel where the stitches were, because they're scar tissue. From the eyes, you can't see anything. He's no longer itching or scratching it, but they're scar tissue. So we all have scar tissue somewhere, emotionally, energetically. But the thing is, we can heal and we can become stronger. And that's what the scar tissue is. It's not going to break in the same way again. So embrace the scar tissue, and embrace the scars, the wounds. Those are like the Nine of Wands has that. That person has a bandage on it. Wear it like a badge of honor, like I survived this. And that's what I'm getting here. And then other people will see your strength, because on this illustration we have this beautiful torch. So instead of just someone doing that, there's the torch and the light is pushing it back. So just through your brilliance, just through your strength, just through your radiance, you'll protect yourself from any of the lower frequencies. Okay, so it's kind of profound, but that's what I'm getting on that. And now I'm going to look at one more card with respect to this, and then we'll move on to the second portion. What does everybody that's watching right now need to know about healing? And then actually I want to look at self-acceptance after that, just like how to love yourself more. But let's do two cards. How can you complete any unhealed or unfinished business? And then what can you do to focus on loving and accepting yourself a little bit more? Okay. So we're going to start on unfinished business. What we got here was, it's such a beautiful energy, and I noticed someone mentioned that they wanted more community. Well, here you got it. Community can help you out. A bee, of course, is part of a hive. The hive is a collective. It's organized. Everybody does their part. Everyone helps each other out. So finding some sort of sense of community could help you heal. Finding a purpose, work. Finding something where you feel like, creatively, this is what I need and want. Spiritually, intellectually, just from a planetary goal, this is what I need. Work is a great outlet. It shouldn't be the only one, but being able to work in something that makes a difference can be very helpful. And the final one is harmony. And so finding things that are in harmony with who you are. And of course, music can be part of that, because we're looking at something that involves that. So definitely creative endeavors, community endeavors, a project, a volunteer project as well, because this is something that you might do. The card is reversed, so for some of you, you're saying, Nicholas, I don't have the community. As someone who moves and travels a lot, you have to work to create it. At my most recent apartment, which I may not stay at because of all the fires that were around me, it took me maybe 6 months to meet some of the neighbors, to get plugged into that part of the community. But you have to do things like, take an exercise class, or talk to the neighbors, or go to a community event. The dog is a great way to connect, but you have to work at it. It doesn't just come to you, but it does come with practice and with involvement. So maybe this is a great time to get involved, okay? Now we have the bat. The bat was reversed. Interestingly enough, in the upright position, it's the hangman. So it's almost like, don't rush these things. So what we're looking at self-acceptance here is, the more you know about yourself, the more you can forgive yourself, the more you can forgive others. It's okay to be sensitive. You don't want to push that back. And when it comes to darkness or shadow energy, it's coming forth and it's ready to be healed in this moment in time. So as a person of light and energy, you shine the light into that shadow and you say, I see you. What's casting the shadow? What's blocking the light? How can I move beyond this and really just be all that I can be, right? So one step at a time though. Healing doesn't happen quickly. It takes sometimes weeks, months, or years. My mom passed away was it April or May it's like 3 years ago. So I'm finally at a place where I'm just very comfortable with that. But that took a while. If you've quit a job or if you've retired, it can take a couple of years to figure out, what am I going to do next? If someone broke up with you, it may take a moment or two to pick up the pieces and rebuild. So just don't rush the healing process. It's not a race. It's something that will take time. And eventually, like Apollo, it'll get to the point that unless you know where to look, you won't see it. And that's, I think, a big takeaway, going back to the sort of metaphor of scars. Unless you point it out, most people aren't going to see it. So don't focus too much on it. Just think, wow, look at my capacity to heal. Look at how far I've come. It's fine. It's more than enough. Okay? All right. So let me look a little deeper. This one, maybe there will be room for, if not a Celtic Cross, a different kind of spread. So, oh no, we're going to heal familial and karmic wounds here. Okay, so this is different. We're going to go way into the deep past. What I might do on this is meet you guys halfway, and we'll do a mini Celtic, because with that I can see just the cross. We're going to do just the cross, because you can do anything you want to when you're looking at spreads. It can be 3, it can be 4, it can be 5. You can just do parts. So for this, it will help, because I can see deep past wounds. So I'm listening to you guys. But instead, I don't want to do all 10. I'm just going to do 5. You can do this for yourself too. So what we're going to look at is karmic and ancestral, and it'll get us just enough, because we're going to see past, present, and future in the center, but then we'll see deep past, crossing, and then where your head's at. So that's all we need for this when we're looking at 3. All right, it's appropriate here as we're looking at ancestral that 10 of Swords would come through. And the Devil, wow. Okay, so we're looking at a concentrated view of the moment. And this will give us enough, and if I need to pull one more, I will, but I feel like we're good here. So here's something interesting. For some of you, okay, 10 of Swords is beautifully illustrated here. If we look at it in the upright position, she could simply be the 10 of Swords. It can be a fear of failure. I'm not perfect enough. I'm not this enough. That can come from yourself. It can come from your environment. Typically, it comes from teaching and environment sort of energy, because I think we come in this life able to love and accept ourselves. It's usually things that we pick up along the way that end up being those tapes that run in our head saying things. So the first message here is to release harsh thoughts about yourself and others. Now, if you were subject to criticism, people saying, you're not beautiful enough, you're not smart enough, you're not this enough, that was their projection. It's not your truth. It's not your path. It's not your voice. It's also not easy to get rid of. And it's probably more than we can do in a tarot reading. So if you were unfortunately not supported from a very early time, this is where counseling plays a role, because they can help you differentiate that person's problems from your truth, from who you are, from where you need to do the healing. So we need to get rid of the critical energy. That's what I'm picking up on with this 10 of Swords. It isn't a physical one. It's mostly focused on the mind, but the mind is connected to the heart. And that's why we're talking about this today. I'm very fine right now, but I can feel the energy of wanting to cry, but I'm actually not triggered right now because I'm more grounded where I'm at. So cry if you need to cry. It's okay. Laugh if you need to laugh. Scream if you need to scream, but maybe in a pillow. But get it out. However you need to get it out, get it out. Because I'm feeling what Spirit's showing me is a bottle. Like the emotions are bottled up. I can feel my tear ducts that want to activate. And it's all of these things. Emotions run the gamut. Anger, fear, anxiety, rage. They all, if you keep them bottled up, they're not going to serve you. So we want to be kind of like the light seer's Queen of Cups, where her head's above water. She's half in, she's half out. So for those of you that are feeling those bottled up emotions, I advocate for working with a health professional on that. Now for everybody, We don't all necessarily need to go to a therapist, but we may need outlets. Community was one of them. We talked about that a few moments ago. Creativity. I'm staying with someone that does beautiful like pottery and things like that. I love to write. I know some of you might like to sing. Some of you might like to build. Some of you might like to invent. So whether it's engineering, creativity, writing, etc., get it out, channel it. Some of the worst emotions can make beautiful music or beautiful art. Okay? So it's the critical stuff in your head that needs to come out. Get out. Okay. El Diablo, the devil. Crossing all of this. Conditions placed on love and acceptance. We definitely feel that when we are in a working environment. We will give you a raise if you do this and this and this. But if you don't, like, it's all conditions when you have a job. That's a job. But in love, it shouldn't be as conditional. If there are people in your life that compare you to people, why can't you be more like this? Or I used to love it when you did this, now you do this, and I don't like that. And it's just all of this criticism. Pull back. Create some distance. And see if you need or want that, if it's worth the work and the energy and the effort. Usually it's not. Don't accept less than your worth. These experiences from the past can sometimes make you feel like you deserve to be criticized, like you deserve to have challenges. Remember, joy and love and happiness are teachers, just like pain and disappointment and martyrdom are. So let's go towards the elevated teachers. You can learn in anything that you want to. So I think that's the big thing here, is that you don't have to accept it anymore. That whatever it is. I gave multiple examples. If it looks too good to be true, it probably is. If you feel like you need to ask a question, ask. And if someone's putting these conditions on something, it's time to release it. So now we're going to look at the karma. I'm looking at the emotions now. We're going to look at the karma. I needed to do a mini Celtic for this just to see the karma. So your karmic card here is Page of Pentacles in reverse. You might have been taught, or someone might have modeled the idea that you have to give and give and give until it hurts, because the Ten of Swords and the Devil kind of shows that, till you're exhausted. And that sometimes if you ask for help or receive help, it makes you less than. Not the case. It's so important sometimes to let people love you. That makes me want to cry, because some of you needed to hear that. Like, just let people love you. Let people accept you. And when you are able to receive that, and you can do it with grace, the universe can give you more then. But if you think to yourself, I'm not worthy, I can't ask, I can't, or it makes me weaker or whatever, it makes it hard for you to have a solid foundation. So whatever you need to feel grounded, and if you have the benefit of having people in your life that want to love you, let them love you. It's a deep message. I mean, even though I'm looking at all this stuff, love is throughout this whole reading. So let people love you. We have a dragonfly on this illustration, which is also about being able to navigate. So you can navigate into a new path. Like, they can go up, down, back, forth, like they're almost like a helicopter. So you have so much capacity now to navigate into a new direction. I hope you can embrace that, okay? So I'm just catching up on this. So someone's saying no one loves you. If you've been watching the first part of this reading, but maybe you didn't, so I'm going to repeat it. It's about loving yourself. We can't find completeness in others. So if you don't have people in your life right now, you'll seek out and create the foundations. They don't happen overnight. You can be discerning, but it has to start with you. And that has to be enough initially. The Ace of Cups has to overflow first in order to find the Two of Cups. Otherwise, you're looking for a battery, and that's not good, someone to plug into to fill the gap. So you have to first work on filling it yourself. And that can be through fulfillment, finding things in your life that are inspiring, finding things that give you a sense of purpose, peace. Peace and quiet. If there's no one in your life, peace and quiet is the first step. One thing that I did to bring love into my life was to adopt a rescue puppy. And you will receive unconditional love if you treat a pet correctly, with love, with respect. That's why he's with me throughout this little mini journey that I'm taking. I wouldn't trust him with anyone else. So you can start with that. Animals are a lot easier than humans, and they can open up your heart chakra. Because one thing that Apollo taught me was unconditional love. He'll snuggle, he'll give me a little kiss. If I scratch his belly, he's happy. You learn to say things like, all the time I'm like, who's a good boy? I love you. And you actually start to say that. Love becomes a part of your language. Start with a pet. If the people aren't around, start with a pet. Connect with nature, get involved in the community. It's a good question, it's a good comment. And so there's a lot of different things, but you build it up within, then you find a teacher like a pet that can teach you in a positive way and treat it with all the love and respect that it deserves, and it will give it right back. Pets are unconditional. It's a lot harder with people, okay? And if you can't have a pet, find ways to connect in nature. So one thing that I'm seeing with a lot of people is I can't have this, it won't happen here. There are other things, I'm giving examples. What we want to do today is to limit the can't, won't, never. So when you say I can't have it, where can I find a connection to nature? Maybe it is going out into the park. Maybe it's visiting a friend that has a pet and spending some time with them. Maybe it's getting involved with an animal rescue and volunteering your time. There are ways. You don't have to have the pet as your own. You can get out there and get involved. So find an outreach program. There are a lot of pets in shelters that need support. If you can't, also maybe you don't want the commitment of adoption, you can foster. And then that's like a 1, 2, 3 week process sometimes until they find a home. Or you can get involved and volunteer. So I'm just throwing out examples to help you get past the, I can't have a pet here. But you could connect in nature. I'm at my friend's house and there's deer outside, like 5 deer. So that isn't a pet, but it does give me a sense of calm. So however you can connect with nature could be another example. So whenever I see I can't, it won't, or it never, I always want to kind of bring people into how can I, where can I, when will I, getting more into the ableist speaking of possibilities. Okay, it will help. I am reading chat as I'm doing this because it's a little closer, so I will address things if I see it, and I'm not calling you out, I'm helping you. I'm trying to help you kind of see how it is, okay? Feed the birds, yes, exactly. That's from, was it Mary Poppins? There's a song, Feed the Birds. Okay, and that really just hit all of the things that we got right here. Because I love justice. A reverse justice is a little bit critical. It's a no, which we need sometimes. No, I'm not going to do that. No, that's not what we talked about. No, this isn't right. But it can also be very like judgmental or very sort of critical. Can't, won't, never. So we're going to eliminate just for this week, can't, won't, and never. And instead, when you think I won't, how will I? How can I? When will I? Where is it? Like it's somewhere else out there. It's looking and getting curious and asking the questions. And when I did the recent podcast with Matthias, I think it was sort of like, we talked about his, like whatever you want to call God in the universe. It kind of became self-aware, asking itself like, what am I? And then everything that you see is kind of an expression of that curiosity. So if that one question of what am I could bring all of this, just imagine what can happen if you start to ask questions and look for things that aren't immediately obvious. Create better balance in your life. Justice, of course, is part of that. If there's something that needs to be fixed when it comes to something legal, now is the time to take care of it. Maybe there is something where if you were mistreated in any part of your life, you're like, I need to fight for myself, fight for others. That's definitely a part of that, okay? Now let's take a look at your crowning card, and this is why I was kind of hammering in the whole question thing. 4 of Cups, it was reversed. The universe has your back. That's something unique in this illustration. Let me see if I can get the traditional one in this other deck, but long story short, the 4 of Cups is basically a blessing in disguise. The blessing can come in the form sometimes of a rejection. The blessing can sometimes come in the form of something that isn't obvious, and it requires you to basically look in a new direction. So if you start to think, well, how about this or how about that, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities. And I think that's my main advice right now, is to look where things are opening up, to never sort of second guess yourself. This is not exactly the same, but it's closer. So he's focusing on the 3 cups in front of him, and there's like one right there to the side, or she's actually offering it here. So it's usually the universe offering that extra ace. She's there on the side, but he won't look, he won't receive. And that's why I was getting a little bit sort of like, hey, wait a second, let's slow down. There are other ways to connect to things. And if it's not a pet, there's other things. And again, yeah, there are pigeons in every major cities. Yeah, you can feed them some breadcrumbs or something. Feed the squirrels, feed the pigeons, you know, save the planet. There are other ways that you can connect with the nature that's out there, okay? Don't compare yourself to others. That's the other thing with the Four of Cups. I'm thinking more of the traditional card. So sometimes the grass is always greener when you look at someone else's life until you walk a mile in their shoes and you're like, you know what? They have some challenges too. Maybe where I'm at is not so bad. Maybe this is exactly what I needed, okay? Know that everything that I say today comes from a place of love. When I'm talking and reading the cards, it may come out stronger than usual because I'm passionate. So know that it comes from a place of love if it's not coming through with my comments. Okay, the Sun card in reverse. With this in the reverse state, we're looking at karma, reborn. It's being reborn because this is a card of birth and release. And with it being reversed, it's also saying, like, in this moment in time, the inner child really wants to come through, really wants to be seen and heard. And you can write a new script. You can try something different. I'm in an interesting place in my life where, you know, I'm so glad this trip has been great because it's allowed me to connect with the new level of family in my life, which is sort of like my friends, my cousins, the remaining aunts that I might have, but like I have no brothers or sisters and I have no mother and father in the flesh. They're up in spirit. And so it's great to have that energy. But now I've had to find new family. So again, to the person or the people out there that may say, I don't have a family, I'm creating new family. Chosen family can be just as powerful. That's what this whole trip has been about for me. Cousins, friends, and more cousins. That's what I'm seeing on this trip. And so all of those make you feel loved, make you feel like the inner child is being supported and nurtured, okay? So I'm with you. But I'm also, you know, one thing here is I walk the walk too. I don't just talk the talk. So because the reason I'm traveling, if you haven't been watching, is because of the wildfires. And there's some really toxic energy and air right now in Los Angeles. So I was waiting for a few rainstorms. I was waiting for things to clear. And then I'm going to figure out what the next chapter is, which in all transparency may be a move out of the city, because for a while, all of that toxicity is going to be there. Because there's asbestos, there's heavy metals, there's plastics. So I might need to get out of that immediate vicinity. But I needed to clear my mind and I needed to be around loved ones before I make any major decisions. I'm taking my time. That's one thing that I've learned. So take your time. Don't make any decision overnight. Take a month or 2 or 3 before you decide to do something. And then the ultimate energy here with the Sun card is to be reborn, right? So yeah, I'm glad the whole idea of chosen family resonated with many of you, because you are going to get to points in your life where people that you once needed, it could just be a teacher or a mentor, they're not always going to be there. So we have to constantly be building and rebuilding those foundations. Remember the first 3 cards of the spread, where we got 4 of Wands, 2 of Cups, and the Lovers, 4 of Wands reversed. You're building new foundations. I feel like that's a big takeaway. If I had to title the video so far, it would be how and where to build those new foundations in your life. Let's just look at one overarching card for karma. So in this one, I want to see like what's going on with the karma. Okay, so we have affluence, fortune, and intelligence. Okay, you couldn't ask for anything better. And it's fun that we actually get a pig. They get a bad rap. They're super intelligent. I would not want one as a pet, but I've seen videos online where they're just really sweet. They're like a dog. Not as clean maybe, but yeah, you know. So we have, in this moment in time, let's say you had karmic challenges with wealth, abundance, and successful relationships. The first message here is affluence and fortune. So you can change the sort of wheel of fortune and bring things into that better trajectory. Intelligence, you have that Queen of Wands energy that we pulled earlier to think herself through any challenge that may be coming through. And then with the pig here, what I also just think of is being full in the best way possible, because pigs get their fill. They eat a lot, they roll around in the mud, they have a good time. There's a sense of like joy and more than enough. Like 9 of Cups is a pig energy to me. It gets everything that it wants, but it's also super intelligent. So know that you can do this and that there is something better. It was the first set of cards that came through. We're digging into the challenges now. I was happy to see the 10 of Swords. As a tarot reader, I want to see where the problems are. That's criticism. That's critiques from others. That's pain. That's discomfort. But it's there, like Apollo, to help you heal. And the scar will be only one that you notice in the long run. Okay? It'll be there, but it's also there to help you remember. Like, never again. That's not happening again. Whenever I rub his belly and feel that, I'm like, we're going to protect you. That's not going to happen again. So it wasn't my fault, but I'm very careful. Like if you have a pet and you're near an elevator, pick them up if they're big enough or small enough. Little things like that. So you just learn to not have the same thing happen. All right, let's look at the next portion of this reading. Okay, I have to go back to the, because this is 3 different topics here. This is the fun part. Rekindling passion in your life and relationships. I'm going to look at the time on this one too, because I want to see how long we've been talking. Okay, so we're going to do maybe a very similar thing on this one. I think for rekindling, we can do 3. And then maybe I'll just do a couple in the flow and we'll stop because I feel like this is perfectly timed and perfectly organized. But for rekindling, it might be helpful to see like, where is the energy and where is it absent? So we'll do a mini Celtic on this one. Passion, where is it? How can you find it? Okay, so I love that we already have in the near future basically an acknowledgement that passion is yours to have. Even if it's you setting the stage to receive it, which we can look at this as it's that, but let's take it card by card. So this is powerful and this is exactly what I'm hearing in my head as I see it. Being by yourself doesn't mean being alone. Like being alone and being lonely, they're separate. The hermit is not lonely. The hermit is comfortable. The hermit is introspective. The hermit doesn't have anyone in the periphery, but they have plenty of options on the horizon. So you first have to learn to live with and love yourself. It's all about love today. I had a feeling it would be. And self-love and acceptance. There's going to be common themes. They're all mushed together today. It's fine. Whatever comes through needs to come through. So if you are single, be single and happy. Be single and curious. If you're in a relationship and you need some space, embrace that. Take the time and space that you need. Being alone is not being lonely. It's not the same. And when people say, oh my God, haven't you found someone? What's going on? Like say, I'm happy. Are you happy? You seem to be very concerned. I'm fine. So if you're feeling the projections of others, don't. And if you feel like you need to project on someone else because they haven't found someone, don't. Instead ask, how's everything going? Be curious, be supportive. You may find that person is the most fulfilled, happy, and connected person in your life. So just don't equate partnership with happiness. It doesn't. You've seen enough examples out there that is not a mutually inclusive thing all the time. Partnership can be happiness, but it isn't always. So the most important thing today is the relationship with yourself and knowing yourself. Know thyself. And know that being alone is not necessarily being lonely. And don't feed into all of the Hollywood and worldwide sort of like pressures to kind of immediately commit and all of that. You can find love in different forms. Animals, friends, cousins, community. Because you don't even need the family, you can find the community, like-minded individuals. So if you're alone and you're happy, good. If you're alone and you're lonely, find the community. Show the people the light that you have, because the hermit is one of the most insightful, loving, and powerful cards that you can get. Crossing this shows speed here, the Knight of Swords. Once you open up and you're like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Once you start to busy yourself, things start rushing in, opportunities start rushing in. Don't rush into commitment, don't push things. Get involved, get active. You're going to find that your schedule's full and that your dance card might be full as well. So the most important thing here for those of you that are just happy in your life is to continue to work on your passions. It's going to amplify your reach, your outreach, and it's going to amplify your kind of chosen family as well, okay? You're exactly where you need to be in this moment. The Hanged Man, like we have, do you see all the light in these cards? I hope you do. So this one is gaining insight from being present in the moment. This one has learned something about themselves. So there's a little something to learn in this moment where you are right here, right now, and just hang out and think to yourself, what is it that I haven't seen? What is it that I could focus on next, etc., etc. What we're seeing as your first block is this. So the block to kind of reconnecting with passion is someone in your life that might be gaslighting you a little bit, that may not be listening to you. It can be your inner saboteur that's coming through thinking you're not all of these things enough to get this, good enough, smart enough, beautiful enough, etc. And it gives you a headache, just like this person. You may also be trying to talk to someone and they're just trying to argue their point. They're not emphasizing. They're not empathizing with you. They're emphasizing what they want. They're not empathizing. So find a better audience, tune them out, and don't let those inner voices sort of get the better of you. The biggest option or the biggest opportunity here is, again, now we have the Five of Pentacles here as traditionally illustrated, but it has a little addition here with the key here. So if you feel blocked, it's not about finding someone else to fix you or to open the door. The key is within. And the key is within when you finally think to yourself, enough of that, and I want more. Because this isn't enough. It's okay to want more than what you've got, especially if it isn't providing the love and support that you need or want. But there are resources. There's the sort of shelter. There's the key. In this deck, they chose not to put the other person because that person's dealing with their own stuff. Self-reliance is a big piece of today, a big and important piece of today. So learn to love and rely on yourself. And once you do that, love comes rushing in. So looking at this from a more holistic point of view, let's see if there's something in your life that you can do to immediately create more sense of passion and inspiration. How can we get to the Knight of Cups? Okay. So we have ingenuity, disguise, and resourcefulness. So the disguise piece is what really jumps out. It's a not so obvious choice. One of the things that I've discovered when traveling was that I don't love the ice on the East Coast, but I didn't mind the snow when I was in the mountains. And I was like, yeah, snow's not bad, winter's not bad. I grew up in snow. I can deal with that. You may find that things that you thought you didn't like or that were too much, you're like, actually, it's not bad at all. Nature, having more space, having clean air, things like that. So when you're looking for things that inspire you, if you're stuck in a career or if you're stuck in a relationship or you're stuck in a location, give yourself time to have like an Eight of Cups moment where you step back. Because what you were looking for may be like right in front of you, but it's disguised or encompassed by like these, or I should say like hidden by these sort of preconceived notions. I'm always going to be here. I'm always going to do that. So you have to sometimes be shaken out of that environment. That's why I'm going to see no less than 3 different places before I go home, just so I can get clarity and in different parts of the world, the US. So I just needed to get away. And it was the first time I did that in a while. So sometimes we need to get away from what's comfortable and what's predictable to see what was always there. This ability to invent and see beyond, also there. The resourceful piece, you'll figure it out. That is the biggest thing. You can just see the top of his fur here with Apollo that I had to figure out is like, how am I going to travel with him? In the corner there, he has a soft little carrying case that, so I put him in that, and I've been getting him used to it. So while we're staying with friends and family, when we're hanging out, I just put him in that and he kind of curls up. Then by the time it's time to go on a bus or a train or a plane, he's fine. So you figure it out. Those of you that travel with children know exactly what I'm talking about. You have to learn new ways to schlep all of this stuff with you, right? So you can figure it out. You can figure out a way to move through what may seem like an impossible hike. So just give it a try, give it a go, and you might be surprised. I feel like we've covered just about everything, but are there any specific questions? You can put some of them in chat. what I'd like to do is meditate. We'll do a final card, and then if there's another question after the final card that I want to look at, I'll do that. So put your non-final question in the chat, and I'll see if there's one or two that jump out, and then we'll wrap up, because I feel like this was a beautiful reading and we got what we needed to get across. All right, so the next piece here is going to be a brief meditation, and this is a chance for us to heal. So we're going to go into the inner child and we're going to heal. Once you've typed your question, close your eyes. And again, if you don't get your question answered, like, we'll have multiple options. So just type it out, let it go. Let's focus on the meditation. A nice deep breath. Let it go. Imagine that you are in a circle of friends, of family. Maybe you want to even see, like, if you don't have that, imagine that you're in the forest and there are a bunch of beautiful animals in a circle around you, celebrating your presence there. There's this sense of being safe and connected and being exactly where you need to be, just like we saw with the Hanged Man. Open up your heart energy, your heart chakra. You can, like, put your hands out and imagine that you're able to embrace all of those animals, all of that abundance, all of that love. Bring it into the heart and take a nice deep inhale. Imagine that you can see every color of the rainbow siphoning through the heart chakra, and that each of the other chakras are starting to light up and spin in a clockwise position, and you can feel this energy of movement from within your body. Create a mantra of self-acceptance. It can be anything. I'll give an example, but you can add your own, and I'll leave a little bit of quiet space after. It can be something like this. I love and accept myself. I am ready to receive love and acceptance from others. I'm ready for love and abundance in the highest forms. Take a few deep breaths, and in this silence, add anything else that you want to that meditation. Exhale. Know that the thought alone brings it into your energy. Hold your heart space. Feel that inner child is receiving a little bit of a hug. You can even hug yourself. Go back in time and space and say, it's going to be all right. I've got you. And now open yourself up to receive that wish that you just put into the world. All right, before I look at chat, go ahead and ask one question that you absolutely want in your head, not in chat. This is your final question. Then I'll see if there's anything in chat that I want to look at before we wrap up. So the final silent question for today is the Emperor. The Emperor is reversed, so he's cutting those ties, cutting the cords. This is a thematic energy that is connected to structures in our life. The family, the bosses, the mentors, but there comes a point where you are all of that within. So just know that you are parent, teacher, mentor to yourself. Cut the ties, cut the cords with anyone that you don't need or want, and embrace that. Can you do it? Yes. If this is a yes or no, it's a yes, comma, but there may be a charge from the universe to do it on your own. There may be a power struggle involved if you can't do it on your own. There may be challenges to your authority. So be ready and willing to stand up and say, I'm the one that's pulling the strings. I'm the one that gets to decide here. Okay? A couple of challenges, but ultimately it's a card of power and manifestation. Quickly looking at chat here. Give me a second here. I'm going to see if there's anything that comes through as something that I want to highlight. There's so many. All right. How do I start is a good one. I mean, I think it's universal enough that we can all benefit. So how can you take the first step? By healing yourself and knowing that I feel like it's a little bit of a rebound energy here. So give it a month or so before you step into something and really focus on self-healing. And know that the past does not have to repeat, okay? Release pain as a teacher. That's one thing that I get here for that. What's the best way to release a block? So we have the Knight of Pentacles here. It's basically to say, what have I got to lose? Why not? So one of the things that you can do is to explore. This knight hasn't gotten the confidence just yet. He's looking down. There's a little bit of an eclipse here, a little bit of fear, but I would say doing the research and exploring, kind of like when I want to start something new, I look at how others have done it and I try to get inspired by that. So I'll watch a movie, I'll read a book, I'll listen to a podcast, I'll research something and I'll think, oh, that's interesting. Would this approach work here? So you can get inspired by the environment. This is a great question. Given that the world is a little bit tumultuous, dare we say chaotic at the moment, is there anything that you can do to mitigate that chaos and stay grounded? The Ace of Cups in reverse. It's okay to feel uncertain, fearful, curious. Don't let it completely monopolize your time. Release the emotion, feel what you need to feel, and find other places where the world is stable, where things are okay, and you can think, I'm going to put my energy there. This is how I can make a difference today. Don't consume too much. An Ace of Cups in reverse is saying enough is enough. So I limit the amount of time that I listen to the news in a given day. Right now it's about 15 minutes in the morning while I'm getting ready, taking a shower, shaving, brushing my teeth. I'll listen to it. Maybe I'll listen to it towards the end of the day too, not before bed. But again, walking the dog, brief moments, a podcast, a little bit of NPR, a little bit of BBC, a little bit of something. Like I just keep a pulse on it so I know what's going on, but I don't consume it all the time. Enough is enough. Okay, there's so many good questions. I never do Q&A, so we're doing a hidden Q&A here, but I figured there'd be some stuff here. How do I trust my intuition after feeling betrayed? Well, and it's coming from a person that you loved and cared about, but for everybody, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse is saying, I can take care of myself, and I have the green thumb. I can make this work. If anything, you learn to trust yourself more because you've always got your own back. So I would just say, lean into the knowing. And I think I said that. Know that the knowing is going to reveal the path in front of you. I'm seeing if there's anything else that I want to look at. I think we're okay. Yeah, we're good. Okay, good. I'm just going to look if there's one last thing. This is what Spirit wants you to focus on. Yeah, we've got so many wands here coming through, wands and pentacles. You have the power, you have the insight, and you have the ability to make a new cycle in your life as we look at the infinity symbol. Create something that you really like. Get involved in a creative endeavor. I think that will help a lot. Thanks to everybody that supported and gave back today. I love and appreciate all of you. I hope that you have an amazing week ahead. I hope you enjoyed this on the road weekly collective. And I will see you again, same time, same place next week. I realize how in the middle of the day this is for the East Coast because I'm here right now. It was like noon, so good afternoon to everybody on the East Coast and anybody on the other part of the world. Good morning to the folks in LA. All right, take care everyone. I'll see you soon. Wishing you much love and light. By the way, I'm going to try to get to the last couple of readings today and tomorrow before I have to travel again. Midweek, I'll be traveling on Wednesday. So apologies for them not being all early. I'm just happy to be healthy, happy, and able to get these out. Take care, everyone. I'll see you soon. Wishing you all the best.